Hotels are meant to be places of comfort and relaxation, offering respite from the chaos of everyday life. But what began as a weekend getaway with my partner would lead me down a harrowing path, uncovering the chilling secrets hidden within the walls of a seemingly ordinary hotel. As I recount my experience, I hope to shed light on the terrifying reality that can lurk behind the closed doors of a hotel room. It was a crisp autumn afternoon when my partner Sarah and I decided to escape the demands of our busy lives and indulge in a weekend retreat. We had heard about the historic Greystone Hotel nestled in a remote forested area, its reputation as an idyllic destination for couples seeking solitude and relaxation piquing our interest. The drive to the hotel was picturesque, winding through dense woods that seemed to swallow us whole. As we approached the Greystone, it emerged like a grandiose mirage from the forest's embrace. Its brick facade and colonial-style architecture exuded an air of elegance and mystery. We were welcomed by a friendly concierge who checked us into our room 333, with a warm smile. The hotel had an old-world charm that transported us to a bygone era, complete with creaking wooden floors and antique furnishings. Room 333 was a spacious suite with a four-poster bed, a cozy fireplace, and a view of the surrounding woods. It was the epitome of rustic luxury, and Sarah and I couldn't have been more delighted with our choice. Our first evening at the Greystone was enchanting. We dined by candlelight in the hotel's dining room, savoring a gourmet meal that left our taste buds tingling. We returned to our room, the fireplace crackling as we curled up in each other's arms. But as the night wore on, a sense of unease began to creep over me. I couldn't pinpoint the source of my discomfort, but it lingered in the shadows, a nagging feeling that something was amiss. I dismissed it as my overactive imagination, chalking it up to the eerie charm of the old hotel. However, as I lay awake in the darkness, I noticed an odd detail that sent a shiver down my spine. The temperature in the room seemed to drop suddenly, and the flames in the fireplace flickered ominously. I tried to wake Sarah, but she remained in a deep slumber, oblivious to my unease. I pulled the covers tighter around me, convincing myself that it was merely a draft, and eventually exhaustion overtook me, pulling me into a fitful sleep. The following day, we decided to explore the hotel's surroundings. The forested trails promised solitude and tranquility, and we relished the opportunity to immerse ourselves in nature. However, as we ventured deeper into the woods, the sense of unease returned, this time more palpable than before. The forest was eerily quiet, devoid of the usual sounds of wildlife. It was as if the very air held its breath, and the oppressive silence was punctuated only by the crunch of leaves beneath our feet. Sarah, too, had noticed the change in atmosphere, and we decided to turn back, our unease growing with each step. Upon returning to the hotel, we couldn't shake the feeling that the Greystone held secrets that were whispered in the rustling leaves and hidden in the shadows of the forest. That night, as we settled into our room once more, the unease that had plagued me the previous night returned with a vengeance. The temperature plummeted, and the fireplace roared to life, its flames dancing wildly as if possessed. I reached for the phone to call the front desk, but the line was dead, emitting only static. Panic welled up inside me as I realized that we were alone in a room that seemed to have a mind of its own. As I attempted to rouse Sarah, the door to our room creaked open slowly, revealing a long, dimly lit corridor beyond. A chilling breeze swept through the room, carrying with it the faintest whisper of a mournful melody. Intrigued and terrified in equal measure, I stepped into the corridor, the cold floor sending shivers up my spine. The corridor seemed to stretch endlessly in both directions, its walls adorned with faded wallpaper and vintage artwork. As I walked further down the corridor, the haunting melody grew louder, filling the air with an eerie, ethereal quality. It was a tune I had never heard before, a mournful lament that seemed to beckon me deeper into the labyrinthine hotel. My heart pounded in my chest as I turned a corner and came face to face with a spectral figure, a woman in a flowing white gown, her hair cascading in dark waves around her shoulders. She held a violin in her hands, its strings vibrating with the mournful melody that had filled the air. Her eyes, however, held a sorrow that transcended the grave, and she gazed at me with a haunting intensity. Without a word, she began to play, her fingers dancing across the strings in a melancholic symphony. I was entranced, unable to tear my gaze away from the ghostly apparition. The music seemed to wrap around me, pulling me deeper into its melancholic embrace. It was as if I had stepped into another realm, a world where the living and the dead coexisted in a haunting dance. As the music reached its crescendo, the ghostly figure raised her head, her eyes locking onto mine. In that moment, I felt a surge of emotion, a profound sadness that seemed to emanate from the very depths of her being. And then, as suddenly as she had appeared, the figure vanished, leaving me standing alone in the dimly lit corridor. The haunting melody lingered in the air for a moment longer before fading into silence. I stumbled back to our room, my mind reeling from the encounter. Sarah was still asleep, her breathing steady and undisturbed. I crawled into bed beside her, but sleep remained elusive, my thoughts consumed by the inexplicable events of the night. The following morning, I shared my experience with Sarah, expecting her to dismiss it as a dream or a product of my overactive imagination. But to my astonishment, she revealed that she had experienced a similar encounter, a spectral figure playing a mournful tune on a violin, a sense of overwhelming sorrow that had left her shaken. We decided to investigate the hotel's history, hoping to uncover the truth behind the apparition we had encountered. As we delved into the archives, we uncovered a disturbing tale, the story of Eliza Caldwell, a talented violinist who had once lived at the Greystone. Eliza had been a guest at the hotel, seeking solace and inspiration in its tranquil surroundings. She had fallen in love with a fellow guest, a charismatic writer who had promised her a lifetime of happiness. But their love had been short-lived and tragedy had struck. Eliza's lover had died under mysterious circumstances, leaving her heartbroken and desolate. She had taken her own life, her grief-stricken spirit forever bound to the hotel where she had experienced both love and loss. We realized that we had encountered the ghost of Eliza Caldwell, trapped in a never-ending cycle of mourning and playing her violin in a desperate bid to connect with the living. The realization sent shivers down our spines, but it also filled us with a sense of empathy for the tormented soul. Determined to help Eliza find peace, we decided to hold a seance in our room, hoping to communicate with her and offer solace. As night fell, we lit candles and sat in a circle, our hands joined in a solemn bond. We called out to Eliza, our voices trembling with sincerity and compassion, and to our astonishment she responded. The temperature in the room dropped, and the air seemed to shimmer with a spectral presence. Eliza's ethereal form materialized before us, her eyes filled with a mix of sorrow and gratitude. Through a series of faint whispers and sorrowful notes on her violin, she conveyed her longing to be reunited with her lost love and her desire for forgiveness. As we listened, tears filled our eyes, and we vowed to help Eliza find the closure she so desperately sought. We researched Eliza's lover and discovered that he had been buried in a nearby cemetery. With a sense of purpose, we visited his grave, hoping to reunite the lovers even in death. At the cemetery, we held another seance, calling out to Eliza's lover and sharing our desire to reunite them. And in that moment, a gentle breeze swept through the graveyard, carrying with it the faint strains of a violin. We felt a sense of peace wash over us, a profound connection with the spirits of Eliza and her lover. It was as if we had bridged the gap between the living and the dead, bringing closure to a tragic love story that had spanned centuries. From that day forward, the Greystone Hotel no longer held the ominous aura that had haunted our stay. The temperature in room 333 remained steady, and the fireplace no longer roared to life without warning. It was as if Eliza had found the peace she had long sought, and her restless spirit had finally been set free. Our weekend getaway had become a journey of discovery, a testament to the enduring power of love and compassion. We left the Greystone Hotel with a sense of closure and a profound appreciation for the mysteries that can be found in even the most unexpected of places. The tale of room 333 would forever be etched in our memories, a haunting reminder that the past can leave an indelible mark on the present. And as we shared our story with others, we hoped that it would serve as a testament to the enduring power of love, a force that can transcend even the boundaries between life and death.